What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, or whenever it is they're watching this. We are going to be doing another PGA show. And Sheets, my Dodgers survived last night. Because of it, my voice is a little hoarse, and I didn't get enough sleep last night. You also took down a tournament. Congratulations on that one. That's pretty awesome. And what are your initial thoughts on this week in golf?
So it was really, I did more work on this slate just from my technological perspective than I have, because what happened was there were like four guys who just like either weren't getting projections. This is like kind of behind the stuff. Weren't getting projections, weren't doing whatever. And I couldn't figure out why. And then all these freaking guys that had very similar sounding names that all were at the very, very bottom. I normally would have just said, you know what? None of them are going to get freaking any fantasy points anywhere. They're all terrible. But I just took a lot of time, and I think I got it done. The other thing to think about this week, my first thought is that don't forget it is it's a no cut week. So so keep that in mind.
Does that mean we can play Grillo?
It means that you can play Grillo.
Okay. I've got him on my list. I just gave him a little circle. All right,
it means unfortunately you can play Grillo.
Yeah, let's jump into it, because I actually think this is kind of I mean, it's probably the best field we've had since the season's come back and everything. So let's jump into it. Why don't we share your screen, and we'll go in terms of price tiers, because I think there's a lot of ways to go on this, and I think it's interesting with it being a no cut week, because we can really try to aim for the guys who actually score fantasy points and not theoretically would score if they did this and this and that.
I'll tell you something, and then it's gonna, when we talk about who I like and stuff like that, it's really scary who I'm gonna come up with, because I mean, you know, look, for a sport that's so based on models and analytics and stuff, every once in a while, like we just kind of just you know, we have these weird ways of looking at golfers, and look, and you know what, if you're gonna have like there's a 1 millimeter, it's gonna determine the difference anyway. You may as well just pick who you want to play, you know, and we'll get to that, because there's a guy I want to talk about on the bottom tier that.
All right. Yeah. Well, so this is one of the rare weeks that I absolutely love the bottom tier.
Well, here's something to keep in mind, by the way, for those of you that look at my sheets, my models and stuff like that. Whenever you have a no cut event, don't get alarmed. You're always going to have the cheapest guys show up as quote unquote the best plays, just because of the way pricing works. That doesn't mean that, you know, that you have to just play like all cheap guys. You know what I mean? You have to go like all the way down the list to find, you know, just to find like the more expensive guy. It doesn't mean they're bad plays. It just means just because of the way pricing works and because it's a no cut event, that's just the way it works. So let's I guess I'll share my screen. My initial look, by the way, this is going to come as maybe no surprise. It's probably going to be the way most people play. I'm probably going to end up being pretty middling, but we'll see what we do.
I sort of tend to agree with you, but let's start with the beginning, the top tier.
Am I sharing the screen?
Yeah, you're sharing. You got.
Oh, okay.
The 10-1 to 11-3 range. Like, I think if you're playing like a cash game or something, that Schauffele seems like an obvious standout. I think Morikawa and Schauffele are the two guys who I want to play in the 10K plus range. I am okay with everybody else the same way I've been saying most weeks, but those are probably the two guys I end up playing. How about you?
So just to recite the narrative that's going around, not even narrative, it's a fact that's been going around. This is I don't want to say his course, but Colin Morikawa plays this course all the time.
Yeah.
And you could look at that one of two ways. One is that he's got familiarity with the course. Another way to look at it is he's got familiarity with the course when it's set up for members. but he might overestimate or underestimate what this course is going to do when it's set up for the first time for PGA pros. So, and he's probably going to be highly owned as a result of all that stuff. So I'm probably going to be staying away from him. My top guy in the 10K and up range is someone I never play, so I'm going to play him. That's Rory Mcilroy.
Rory.
I never really get to him, and so I actually prefer him over Xander slightly. Now, neither of them are going to be particularly low owned, as you know. Again, because of a no cut event, all these guys are good plays. You know what I mean? But I happen to prefer Rory over Xander if I had to choose. But I don't think in the end, I'm going to end up playing any of this stuff. Because of the way, I mean, again, the way my models are doing, the way I'm running my optimizer stuff, I'm just getting all these kind of cool middling guys. But that's fine because I am going to play some lineups just to be different, because if I'm getting this, then everybody's getting it. And I'm going to play some lineups with say Rory on top or Xander on top, because I do want to have some fun with some of these cheapos also.
Yeah, there's plenty of cheapos, and but I in general kind of like that. Kind of agree. All right, let's jump into the 9K range. I think there is I have a lot of interest in basically everybody in this range, because I'm not as interested in the top range either.
Yep.
I love Hovland. I think he's my preferred play this week. I still am always a sucker to throw in a Burns lineup or two, but Hovland, Oosthuizen, Answer, Cam Smith are my favorite plays in this tier, and I don't mind Scheffler either. But I specifically, I think that Answer gets left out here, as he always does. And I think he'll be the lowest owned of that bunch. But I do really like that little grouping I just named.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about that grouping. I happen to, I mean, very, very slightly prefer Scheffler. But it's all those guys are good. Cam Smith, Louis Oosthuizen, those are the top three I have. And then there's Answer. I didn't quite like Finau that much. You didn't mention him, I just kind of throwing out there. I didn't like that much. Burns, Hideki. So for me, if I actually do, I'd like to say that Scheffler, Smith, and Oosthuizen, I think, are my three favorites. I have Hovland a little worse, but not that he's worse golfer or whatever it is, but today, but this particular occasion, I happen to like Scheffler, Smith, and Oosthuizen the best. But you're right. I mean, the 9K range is where you're going to get a lot of meat, and and you can't go wrong with any of that stuff.
Yeah, I kind of agree with all that. But I do like the idea that Answer does get overlooked in these things when he's in the same price tier, and he's just really good. Simple as that. How about down to the 8K range? It's kind of interesting down here, because I feel like there's a million different ways to go. That we have guys who are usually priced in the really, really, really high ranges. I'm finding myself very interested in Kokrak. I'm finding myself very interested in, I actually am interested in Harris English here. But I'm sort of like struggling with my other guys here. I feel like there's a bunch of guys who I'm interested in, like Webb, but I don't know if I really want to play them or if I'm just playing them for sticker shock value. So who are the guys you're focusing on?
Guy that stands out for me as the best 8K range player is somebody I hate playing, and he's going to be on. And that's Paul Casey. Yeah. And I'll probably end up just getting him, but if I play him, it's going to be with other guys. You know what I mean? I'm not going to build a chalk lineup around Paul Casey. It's going to be because those are the lineups I take other shots with. So he's the one that stands out the most for me in this range. And then I think one of the guys that you may have alluded to but didn't say is you're getting guys like Webb Simpson, like at 8,700 now. I mean, he's not the guy that usually benefits from this type of event or this type of course, which is very forgiving apparently for big hitters. But I mean, he is only 8,700. And then the guy who always looks like a good play under 9K, Tyrrell Hatton at 8,400. He's showing up in a good amount of my builds right now. And if you want to play the narrative to just go all in on somebody that Sheets goes all in on and busts the week before, you could try Patrick Reed at 8K. So I guess Paul Casey, I'm just, according to my models and my numbers, is clearly the best play. But again, when you're building lineups, just make sure you don't just play all the chalk. And Paul Casey's going to be that kind of chalk that, I mean, I have him at 15%. I think he can even be higher. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he probably will be higher. But let me ask you a quick question about that. Do you think that some of these guys actually run the risk of just withdrawing? Like if they have a bad hole or two early on? I mean, I know it sounds like a stupid question, but like Oosthuizen, we've seen that from in the past. I don't know. I'm just sort of like looking down at this.
I think it depends on the prize structure also, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the prize structure is. I don't know, like if you get paid for like 50th, you know what I mean? If you don't withdraw.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I actually don't know that. I should probably look into that. But I was just, that was the one thing I was like, well, sort of wondering. And I agree about Patrick, but the price on Patrick Reed does seem a little bit egregious. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. And honestly, people aren't going to play him because they hate Patrick Reed.
Yep.
All right, let's move down to the 7K tiers. I have a few like guys who I'm very high on here. I'm just trying to make sure I have my whole list. I like Aaron Wise. I like Joaquin again, Neiman.
Yep.
I like Charlie Hoffman.
Yep.
Like Taylor Gooch, like Maverick McNeely. I like Russell Henley, and I like Tringale. Those are the guys I'm focused on the most. How about you?
You literally got all of them, except actually that's not true. There are two guys that you didn't get that are showing up for me, and one of whom you like to play sometimes. So if you're gonna bring them up, and one of them I never play, but I might this week. So one is Alex Noren at 7,100. I know you've had some various levels of success playing him.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I'd throw that out there. And then also I don't play him that much, but Sergio Garcia is only 7,500. And he rates pretty well also. So if I had to rank them, I would say Neiman. I have to say Noren looks like looks right up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Tringale, check. Charlie Hoffman, check. Maverick McNeely, check. And Aaron Wise, check. Yep. And then you said Gooch and Henley, I think also.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like all that. Make sure that Harold Varner is playing. I think they just had a baby. They had HV4.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't look into it, but as far as I knew as of today, he was playing. But I'm not sure.
I got you. Yeah, that's a good one to take a look into. I'm not going to play Harold Varner either way, so I can just say congratulations on the baby. I'm never a guy who plays Harold Varner. I don't know why. Sometimes it burns me. Well, it doesn't really burn me usually. All right, let's get down into the 6K range. I think that there's a lot of, unlike a lot of other weeks, there's a lot of things. I can finally play Grillo, like we were talking about. I like Grillo a lot. I like Kevin Streelman. I like Brian Harmon. And I like Patton Kizzire and Cam Davis. Those are my guys. Chris Kirk, also honorable mention. I like all of these guys very much. I think that there's really not a whole lot of difference between them in the 7K range. Oh, I also like Keegan Bradley. So I will probably go out of my way to play two of these guys in most of my lineups.
All right, so here are my top plays. My top plays, just from the model's perspective, is in the 6K range, and they each deserve a little bit of a story. So the first guy, when I first ran it, I'm like, okay, he's the top guy. Hopefully, he's not actually the top guy. Then I was actually listening to Rick's podcast, and Rick was saying, boy, this guy's showing up for me. I really hope he doesn't. And then when he ran like his big custom model at the end, he's like, oh my God, this rates to be the best golf. You got to be kidding me. So I got to use him. He's gonna be probably owned now too. But Jonathan Vegas, 6,300.
Yeah,
is gonna be probably owned. But that's it. And the second guy, all I'll say is not that he owes me money, but he rates for me as the second best value on the slate. And correct me if I'm wrong, but last time there was a no cut event, I was in position with $100,000 with this guy with a negative. So I'm going right back to KH Lee at 6,200 as the no cut champion.
I like that idea. I like that. That's one person I absolutely did not think of for this tournament. I do love the Johnny Vegas thing. I actually just don't think though these guys can all be that out. Like I like Chris Kirk. I like Cam Davis here. I like Kizzire. I like Grillo. These guys are not going to be. And you no thoughts on Streelman or Bradley?
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, I think that what ends up happening with all these guys is they're going to fall in that range of you don't need them type of thing.
But that's what I was trying to figure out is like instead of like we don't need them and trying to play the absolute bottom tier.
Yep.
These guys are not the typical bottom tier.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and not only that, this could be one of those funny situations where, there are only 70, 79 golfers or whatever it is, and just in the terms of being different, if say, let's take, I don't know, Aaron Wise, who always gets ownership. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Let's say you take Aaron Wise at 7,400, is he really like gonna outscore like Jonathan Vegas like all the time? Like,
Or like Cam Davis or
right.
or
And
Grillo.
so what I'm saying is you play Grillo, for example,
Yeah.
and you leave 1,000 on the table.
Maybe
And
this
then
is
you
when
just
Grillo makes it up to us, man. Maybe this is the time.
That's right.
I'm
Well, one thing I will
serious.
say, I've been playing the showdowns a little bit, and he's in every showdown lineup. And it's great. Like every time I do it, I'm like, oh, I'm so psyched. Through 9 holes, he's -5. Like, this is the why I play Grillo. And then like I go to the bathroom and he's like even.
Oh, I hear you. All right. Well, let's do the game here. Let's start with the top. Who's winning this tournament, Sheets?
All right. I've never picked him before, so I'll say Rory.
Wow, my guy, usually my former guy. Okay, well, he gets a couple of check marks for that. I'm gonna say Morikawa and take the chalk,
Yep.
but that's all right. How about who's gonna come in the top 5 in the next tier?
Oh, man. All right. I will try Scotty Scheffler.
Okay, I'm gonna take another chalky one in Hovland. Scotty Scheffler letting us down last week. All right, so down in the 8K range, or I guess it can be whatever you want, to top 10.
Not playing him. So it's got to be under 8K, right?
No, just under 9K in the
Oh,
8K range.
under 9K. Got to finish top 10.
You could take your Paul Casey if you want to.
Rather watch paint dry. You know what? Let's go. Let's go, Patrick Reed. Let's go.
All right, Patrick Reed. Let's go. I will take another one who's going to be fairly low owned, and that is going to be, well, okay, I'm going to take Jason Kokrak.
I like that. And under
about-
8K.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I got a different under 7K guy. I'm going to bring up next. I'm going to go back to Charlie Hoffman.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Perfect. By the way, I'm not going to say this guy, but one guy I should have given a shout out to before, or should have thrown out there, was Siwoo Kim. And hey, you've had some success with Siwoo Kim in no cut events when he was +15 for you.
Him too. That's right. That was him. I thought that was KH Lee.
No, it was Siwoo.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Oh,
I know. That's what I couldn't remember for a second.
I'm confused. Okay.
I'm actually not sure that in this format that he's any better, because he just always makes it anyway. But like, I'll take Joaquin Niemann.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go when we go to under 7K. The guy who's ranked second for me, as far as the actually behind Vegas and Lee, who I'm gonna give out is Eric Van Rooyen.
Oh, okay, interesting. I was not expecting you to say that. I think that there's by the way, I didn't mention Gary Woodland either, another interesting play in this price tier. I really like both Streelman and Kazire. To stay on brand, I think I'm gonna have to say Patton Kazire. The general gets their love again, even after letting us down.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. All right. So to reiterate, so we have the guys who I've got, specially circled are Rory, Morikawa, Hovland, Kokrak, honestly, Grillo, Oosthuizen, Scheffler, Hatton, Casey, Hoffman, Henley, Gooch, Tringale, Streelman, Kazire, Neiman, and Patrick Reed. Those are my main ones. One guy we didn't mention that I do want to say, because I will be playing him. I actually like both these guys in this event, and that's Munoz and Ortiz. I think they're both, like, if you're not going to have a cut event, these guys can put up a number like anyway. They just will end up going for enough plays and whatever. I just think that they're actually really interesting. They're 63 and 6,200. So I like those guys as well.
If you play FanDuel, my top play on FanDuel is Cameron Smith, just so you know.
I really like Cam Smith. I like that whole price tier in DraftKings. I like Cam Smith. I like Oosthuizen, and I like the other one. answer. All right, man. Well, let's get it this week. I'm gonna
Yep.
be, again, as we always do, just using a pool from the players we chose from.
Yep.
There's a lot going on, so let's get it. And we'll be back shortly with an NFL video.
Okay, later.